I say thank you, and I do share that enthusiasm. I appreciate the way you began your remarks. This is a tradition of bipartisanship that goes beyond the senator and I. But I want to say this about Senator Wicker because I'm new to the Senate. I've here about 25 months now, but this last full year that I've been working on this passenger rail bill as him, the ranking member of that subcommittee, I have found him to be tough, to be balanced, to be strong and thoughtful about what was best for America, thinking about our country first, thinking about his great state, our country, how are we going to create jobs, how are we going to improve in an increasingly globally competitive environment. It has been an honor to work with him, and I think what we accomplished together is extraordinary and is going to have a profound impact. This bill makes critical investments in our rail infrastructure. It makes important safety reforms, and it helps to move our country forward, literally and figuratively. Rail efficiency and safety is critical to our national success. It's a priority. This idea of protecting Americans is a priority of both Senator Wicker and I. And it's critical that we have rail safety, especially as we go forward and have seen, unfortunately, in the past, some very challenging accidents. For me and my constituents in New Jersey, rail is incredibly important. We're part of the Northeast Corridor, which is probably the busiest rail corridor in the country. It is one of the most productive regions of our nation, and unfortunately, it has an inadequate infrastructure. More people use rail than use fly on the air in that corridor, and the challenge is that corridor itself has become a chokehold right around the New York, New Jersey region. And one of the reasons of that is because the Hudson River crossing, the busiest river crossing in the United States of America, has tunnels that are just inadequate and ineffective at this point. These tunnels were built back in 1910. Nobody in this body remembers those years personally, but the tunnel began construction 1 year after the famous flights at Kitty Hawk just getting off the ground in air travel. These tunnels were completed less than a decade before the start of the First World War. And so today, these tunnels are in horrible condition. The whole region is suffering as a result of it. I hear time and time again from constituents about the urgencies for investment in rail. Residents now that because of the delays, because of the challenges with the New Jersey Transit, have to leave earlier for work, miss time with their families, miss dropping off their kids from school, lose out on productivity. In fact, the productivity losses in this region amount to the hundreds of millions of dollars. And so this is an urgent cause for us, and that's why I was so grateful, really celebrating the fact that we have a partnership in the Senate that could actually get something done when it comes to rail travel. For us in this region, we know the challenges. If we have tunnels under the Hudson River that are clearly in a state of significant decay and disrepair, that some engineers say have less than a decade on them, one single day of missing those access to those tunnels for that artery could hurt our regional economy about $100 million for one single day in wasted productivity. So when this spring, Senator Wicker and I joined together to introduce this legislation, the Railroad Efficiency and Enhancement and Efficiency Act, that bill is making the critical investments. The bill would allow the Northeast Corridor, very critically, would allow the Northeast Corridor to reinvest its profits into that region, which is going to be significant for helping to give us a 21st century competitive infrastructure. And that is something I cannot understate the urgency of. Our bill, as I said earlier, added critical safety provisions that's going to help to make for positive train control. And earlier this month, as was mentioned by Roger Wicker, the Chamber passed the Fixing America's Surface Transportation Act, or the FAST Act, a 5-year, $305 billion transportation compromise bill, which for the first time includes the rail provisions that I'm proud to say were in our Railroad Enhancement and Efficiency Act. And so this bill that passed the Senate will enable critical projects like the Hudson Tunnel Plan. It's going to achieve incredible safety for our community. And I just want to, again, Mr. President, thank Senator Wicker for his noble service. I want to thank, I'm sure he and I both would like to thank Senators Thune and Nelson, the ranking members on the overall committee who worked to ensure that our bill was part of the massive highway transportation bill. Our long-term economic competitiveness as a country. We talk about national security. Well, our economy fuels our strength at home and abroad. And investing in infrastructure, which has a long history of being a bipartisan priority, is something I'm proud to join with Roger Wicker and continue that great American tradition of investing in our communities, creating more growth, creating more jobs, creating a strong economy that makes for a strong nation.